Hello, welcome to Chatter 15 Minutes of Fame. We are back, excited. We've got a great show for you today. And here is my fabulous host, Miss Danielle Ward.
Good morning, afternoon.
Yes, so today's topic is about photographs. And one of my closest and dearest friends, Vivian Artis, is here with us today. She's a mom, former athlete, creative director of photography for over 20 years. She is a jack of all trades. She can do just about anything and everything. I'm telling you, she's extremely talented. So welcome, Vivian.
Hello.
All right. So you ready to get into these questions?
We're gonna see.
Okay. All right, and almost forgot to ring that bell. All right, so first question. Vivian, even though I've told them a little bit about you, but tell us a little bit about yourself and what drew you to photography.
Well, I'm originally from Chicago, South Side, all the South out there. Uh, what drew me to photography? So when I was younger in high school, well, I guess it goes all the way back to junior high. Love to entertain. I come from a very athletic and entertaining family. So when you said former athlete, it's like, nah, not former.
Okay, not former, my mistake.
So our family is very talented. All of my siblings either play sports, they cook, they bake, they do art. It just is naturally in us. We're like the Jackson Five, except we're the artists. So just being in the family and being around a lot of creative people, even my cousins and aunts, it's like God just threw it at our family to be so creative. So moving forward in school, got into sports and to the arts, passed it on up to high school, started doing theater and what have you. And I actually like the behind the scenes because it's one thing to see the production and come and watch it. It's another thing to be behind the camera and see this all come together and to help someone. Like a lot of people say, oh, I don't like pictures, I don't like this, but to be that person that can capture that person's essence without even being able to say a word is what pretty much drew me to photography or the arts.
Okay, excellent.
That is definitely a gift
Yes.
because I'm one of those people that even though like I'm an actress and all that, and people are like, okay, let's take a picture. And I'm like, you know what I look like? Why I gotta be all in a photo, And so when I get professional pictures, I'm like, if it's a photographer I don't know, then I have to give them the spiel. Like, listen, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo, especially in front of the camera. So, I need some help. Yeah.
But the image is great, is to be yourself, to be that weirdo.
Embrace and like lean into the weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, thank you. Note to self, lean into it. All right. So, what exactly does your job entail as a creative director, and what kind of key responsibilities and challenges have you faced?
Ooh. Is that part we're not supposed to talk about? Play around.
You lay it on them. Be honest.
So challenges and what does it entail? So I'm trying not to be a Miss America pageant chick in question. So because I work for just one photographer right now, I do like I scout the locations. I try to get to know the client that we're going to shoot. If I don't get to interview them, I like to see what they look like so I can visualize what their story should be. Because essentially, anytime you get a picture, it's a story. It just doesn't have words, and you have to formulate your own. So I scout the locations. I sometimes give them little keys to do before. So like if you're going to a photo shoot with a professional or someone who's starting out, do not wear certain outfits, come with a positive attitude. All the parents out there that don't, that have children, please don't argue with them before the shoot. I literally, if you ever remember a movie with Jennifer Lopez, she was a wedding planner and she had all these little whatnots. That's essentially who I am for photography. I have everything in case you get a stain, if your hair is out of place, makeup. So, it's just a whole bunch of different things that go into me being the creative director, what else do I do? I normally sometimes have to coach the photographer on how to do the job, because sometimes she may have one idea of how the shoot should go, and based off of where we're shooting, who we're shooting, and our time slot or our schedule, we have to figure out, okay, well, we're going to have to shoot it this way, or we're going to have to do things this way because it's not going to allow for certain things. Then the challenges. There's never a challenge, ever.
Oh.
Never. Everything always goes perfect until it. I'm my biggest challenge is when people tell me they don't want to look like themselves.
Wow, that says a lot.
So you have those that say, "Don't make me look fat," or "Don't get this side because I have this," or "I have this blemish," and it's like, we don't really like to work with Photoshop if we don't have to. Mm-hmm. And so that's the biggest challenge, is to capture these people or these images in a way that makes the client happy. So what I think is gorgeous, I could show you and you might be like, I don't like that. And it's like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because we don't see ourselves. We don't know what we actually look like to someone else. It's kind of like when women say, "Oh, girl, you look good in that." Then a guy sees you and he's like, "Yeah, not so much." One of those, trying to capture the best you and you accept it from me.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good
A
stuff.
lot to go on there. Good info. Shout out to Vivian's business partner, Natalie. She is the photographer here. She takes fantastic pictures. So next question. How do you maintain your creative vision when working within the constraints of a tight project budget?
Natalie Woods. So everyone always asks, how do I come up with the ideas that I come up with? And I promise you, it's God-given. I literally called my little sister, Michelle, this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, I never talk about myself. I just know how to do what I do. And so sometimes when we have constraints or we have limited resources, Natalie has to reel me back in, because if I go to a photo shoot, I'm thinking of everything that could go wrong. And she is always there to say, Vivian, no, we just did a photo shoot a couple of weeks ago and we were supposed to shoot all these different families. And they were like, well, we're going to shoot it in 5 minutes. I said, we're going to shoot at least 18 different families. They get 5 minutes each. We got to position them. We got to get lighting. It takes about 5 minutes to get them in here and get them set up. So trying to rework that and work with her and the client that hired us to understand, hey, sometimes you got to loosen those reins and let us have our way. But for the most part, Natalie Woods, I'm going to keep saying it because we fight every time we go to set. I like to think big. Claron, I've tried, when me and her work together, she has to, anyone who's working with me, Claron, anyone, they'll say, no, Vivian, that's enough. I'm done. So I always want to I would rather have more than enough than not enough to work with. So when we're editing pictures, what people don't understand is we can take a picture and you may not have smiled great in this one, but in the next one you did, but there's just something wrong with your clothes, and we can merge those pictures together. So this is a type of Photoshop that we like to do, where it's like, okay, you're smiling, or like I tell everyone on my dad's side, our one eye always wants to close. And so in some pictures, you'll see one eye closed and it's like, no, I haven't been drinking. It's just a family. So then we find an image with me with both eyes open in the same outfit, and we can merge that. So it looks like I had both eyes open and I was smiling. So about I've done it so far. I haven't gone over budget yet. Over time, but not budget.
Wow.
Okay. Quick note to the audience. Photographer's name is Natalie Woods. That's why she said that. For a second, I thought of the actress. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not who she's talking about.
People are going to be like,
Natalie Woods is her name. Shout out to Natalie Woods. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're working with various clients with different needs, how do you balance their creative vision and what they see about their or want for their shoot how do you merge that with your own artistic sensibilities? Because what if they ask for something that's unreasonable? Like, how does that work?
That never happens.
Oh, okay.
So traditionally, that's why I like to interview them first.
Okay.
So get an idea of what they want. And then when they do want something that is perceived as outlandish, I will go ahead and shoot it. And I'm going to show you. Because we had someone that wanted like a very artsy, creative skateboarding trick. And where they wanted shot at, I knew that the cement was uneven. I'm like, you get hurt. We're not paying for that.
Yeah.
So we shot it, and some of the images came out. Some of them didn't, because the person didn't take into consideration, even though she can capture every moment, you got to have your face right for every moment. Yeah. And so instead of arguing with people, let me show you what you're asking for. If you can do it, we will shoot it. So that person was like, well, I didn't know you were filming. I was like, yeah, as soon as you took off, well, how am I going to know when? No, you got to smile, or you got to make your face throughout the whole motion. And they're like, that's almost impossible. Oh, okay. So we're going to. Okay. So I would rather show you what it looks like than try and tell you, because some people don't receive it the same way. So if you see some of the uniqueness of your ideas, but having that uniqueness in your pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question. What is your approach to lighting, and how has it evolved over the years?
While we having pop quizzes, I don't even have my clip notes. Okay, that's telling my age, but let me see. When we first started out, we tried to shoot on location, and Natalie would do all the editing through the computer, because the lighting, we didn't have the money nor the equipment to do it. And then as we slowly started buying equipment and what have you, what people don't know, all these lights, like I have lights up right now and I don't have them turned on, but they are sometimes complicated, and they're like children. They don't want to listen. And then also depending on who you're taking pictures of, skin tone is a monster. And I know they say black don't crack, but it can. And when it does, it does. So I literally knew how to light, but didn't know the technical terms for lighting. So like Natalie's just recently bought some better lights, and she's always saying, you're hot. And I was like, I already know. What are you talking about? And they're referring how bright or how washed out you are. So through the years, it's been me and her working together, me working with other photographers. Shout out to everyone who's tried to steal me from Natalie. I'm sorry. But it's just testing and looking at YouTube videos. And yes, I do the YouTube. There is a place here. It's the Museum of Arts. Natalie actually went to class to learn about the lighting. And I laughed because she said in the class, I read the books to figure out what works best for who and how to achieve that. So those of color, we don't necessarily have to have the same lighting as those who are a little lighter or fair complected. And then also the colors that you wear, these all play a factor in that. So the evolution of us with lights is still evolving. I'm still learning. When I go on like big production sets and they have all those big ones, I'm steady looking at numbers and I'm like, oh my gosh, is that where it's supposed to be? My picture still turned out good. What's the difference? And sometimes it's just a matter of how great that photographer is to capture the image and do that little bit of photoshopping to make your lighting choices better. So it's ever evolving. Look, I'm not perfect at it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to YouTube University, because
yeah,
seriously, yeah. What are some common misconceptions or mistakes that clients make during a photo shoot, and how do you help them to avoid those mistakes?
Some of them you just can't. So everyone who has children, I did it when I was younger. I look at my children's pictures right now and I'm like, why did I fuss with them? They didn't sign an image release. They didn't sign up for the photography shoot. And why did I force them? And that is like one of the main things that happens when it's families, because people want their pictures perfect and we forget as adults, we were children. We didn't want to sit still. Because I know y'all remember that picture when your hands are like this or
Yep.
everyone had it. And it was like, were you happy? The other misconceptions, a lot of people are used to JCPenney, Sears, and all of them. And when they come to shoot with us, most of those places don't have creative directors. So you don't have a Vivian on set. You don't have someone fixing your clothes, telling you how to stand. You just have the photographer and hopefully they capture something. Mm-hmm. So what's the other thing? You can wear whatever. No. If it didn't fit at home.
These are facts, folks. These are facts.
Yeah. Photoshop is real, but we can't close the zippers on pants that were not zipping when you put them on. We can't get stains out of clothes. These are like little small things, but they happen. The photographer nor the creative director is there to make you smile. We can try, but if you come there in a funky mood, it's best to just reschedule. Yeah. Because we can only do so much. And it's sad, but that's the truth. It's even like entertainment in the acting world. You got to come prepared. No one's going to pull out magic wands and make everyone skin perfect, chest sit upright, posture. No. So you all are in the entertainment industry. You know, you got to show up ready. If you're not, it's just nothing.
You do.
Nothing can be done.
So, one quick note. I forgot to mention Vivian is also an actor, an actress like us. So,
to be or not to be.
Okay. For those doing a self-taped audition, what are your top tips for eliminating shadows and ensuring a professional look?
Please tell us.
This one's a good one because I've had to do some tapes and I'm like, I'm a perfectionist. Not really, but kind of, sort of. Mm-hmm. Depends on what you're doing. I just watched the video of this guy who does a lot of self-taping, and he actually changes his lighting depending on what the audition is. So if it's a dramatic, he's going to make it a little darker so that they visualize him in that setting. So like if you were doing like a dark drama or a horror film, don't have the bright light so that they can see you clearly. Make them visualize you or see you as if you're already in the film. So he's doing that what is it, Jedi mind trick? That's subconscious is saying, oh my gosh, they look well in this. So depending on what the audition is, I would change the lighting. It's called a flat, or technically you can just get a poster board and sit it like probably a half arm's length away from you. And that way the light bounces off so that you can, because a lot of people who self-tape, they get shadows on one side.
Yeah.
It's flat. You can get a black poster board. You can get a white one, whatever. Test it out. The light's going to bounce off of that so it lights the other side of your face instead of just this half being lit up as well. What's the other thing? Depending on, like I said, what you're auditioning for, that background needs to fit. Like Claron was saying, follow directions. If it's supposed to be cheery, have a cheery background. Don't have this plain blah unless that's what they've asked for. You want something that's going to make you pop and make your personality come alive. Because if you don't have something that you like in the image or in the vicinity with you, you're going to record in a negative light and it's not going to come out the way you want. So make sure the clothes you're wearing look right. They fit right. You feel good in it. I don't care if it's basketball shorts and t-shirt. Yes, Claron, I said it. But also make sure you have a positive mindset. If you're recording and you've had a bad day, go eat that tub of ice cream, go do whatever, because no matter how you get the lighting together, we can't cover up the way you're actually projecting yourself. So the lights can only show so much. So it's just about testing. I know, like for something like this, I have two lights set up. I have one in front of me, and then I have one to the side. So what people don't understand is the lighting that gives the shadow is there because you're blocking the light. So how do we counter that blockage, that shadow that you're getting? You put that second light towards the background, so that shadow is going to be cast across the room. So just testing and go from there.
Okay.
That's a big old gym right there. Seriously.
You
That's
ain't lying.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, also, if you're doing like headshots, yes, it might cost me money, but anyway, if you're going to do your own headshots, have that light there, have the light over here, but have a reflector underneath you, and it's going to shine up, and you can have your little clicker and get your own images. Or you can set it on the timer and have it take multiple images at once, and you can go in and just pull out the ones that you like.
Okay.
So, sorry, Natalie, if anybody decides to do that instead of hiring us.
That's good stuff, because sometimes
Yeah.
you're in a pinch. Sometimes you're
Yes.
in a pinch. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and for all of us who wear glasses, you have to alter where your glasses sit on your face. Sometimes your head a little bit so that you don't get that light in there. And they know that since you have on glasses, you're going to have it. I used to be an optician. Anti-reflective coating is great. It's great. It's great for the computer and nighttime driving, as well as for photography. Downside is you'll get that little green or the blue for all you blue light wearers in the corner. So just learn how to tilt your head or put the light in a way that it doesn't capture it. So sometimes you bring your glasses down or just tilt your head, and you can normally figure it out, especially if you have to tape it home. Or you can quite simply take the glasses off and just let them know I do wear glasses, but most people who wear glasses do have contacts. For those who don't, just tilt the head.
So this sounds like great tips for actors who are on a tight budget and can't quite get those headshots. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm told all the time, don't go get new headshots. Just take some at home. And I laugh because I haven't told them that this is what I do for a living, so I'm not paying for them anyway.
Wow. Okay. Have any of your clients impressed you with something that they did, or inspired you during a shoot?
Long time ago, let me not say that. It's probably been about 4 or 5 years. We had a young lady. She was a teenager, very shy, but she gave me the vibes of Chili from TLC.
Yes.
And just her natural essence was just phenomenal. She would do just, if I asked her to do something, it was like she was in my head. And she would just pose. We did it down by like the Coke bottling plant. And this place is like not super gorge, but her essence just permeated through everything. We shot her at this other location, Eskenazi Hospital. Everyone's like, is that at Eskenazi? But it wasn't the location, it was her. And I'm like, you should seriously consider modeling, because if you can be down at an old bottling plant in the middle of the street and traffic stop, because your beauty and her energy it would just shine so bright. So she was like the first one, like when Natalie and I were first starting out. She was great. I can't remember her name, but she was phenomenal. And then we did have a woman recently. It's been within the last year or two. She was getting married, and unfortunately, her son was no longer with us. And her and I worked together, and she didn't want to tell me about the dress. And I was like, okay. But telling her story about her son and her life, I said, okay, I think I know what your dress is going to look like. And it was funny because the day of the wedding, the day before the wedding, her close friend asked me to write a poem for her. And I'm like, Lord, oh my gosh. But based off of our conversation and her telling the story, I sketched out her dress that she actually wore without ever seeing it. And then the poem that I came up with was just based off of me visualizing everything she was telling me about her relationship with her son. And I was like, I love when I feel like the A-team, I love when these creative dreams come together and all the juice is flowing. She did something in my spirit that made me that much more creative. And the wedding was gorgeous. She was gorgeous. She loved the poem. She touched my spirit and she allowed me to be me and create some stuff. And for her dress to look like what I imagined, that just lets you know, okay, yeah, these images are stories without words. And it was just great. She was just phenomenal.
Wow. Wow.
I already knew that story. I had to act like it was wow, but it is a fascinating story.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is something. That is really something. All right. So, lighting different skin tones can be a challenge. How do you tailor your lighting techniques to ensure everyone looks their best regardless of skin tone?
Goes back to trial and error. I know we try to use like a warmer light for our fairer complected clients, but normally so far we've shot outside, so it's been great. So God took care of that for me. Yeah. Also, it's the coloring. If you are fair complected, please don't come with the light colors, because even if we do it outside or we do it inside, it can wash you out. So even though I'm not fair complected, I have a tendency for my lips to fade into my face. So I put a little bit of color on just so they pop a little more. So if you're like, we shot one teenage girl, she was gorgeous too. She was a redhead. Oh my gosh. Her skin was very fair, but the lighting was just optimal. Her colors were red. So it played off of her skin very well. Since people of color have like a natural filter in there, and our skin normally absorbs the light in the right way, it's not as hard to do it for people of color, but it's always about what clothes are you going to have on. Next time I hate telling people this because then they can't watch movies the same. Next time you're watching a movie, look at the clothes that the people have on. So if you're looking at a movie and the person's supposed to be depressed or what have you, they're going to have on really dark colors. Yeah. And the lighting's going to be a little more dramatic. It's not as dramatic as what it appears, but it has to do with the clothing. So as far as like lighting, I'm going to keep saying trial and error because I know it by heart. I don't know the technical ways of telling you all how to do it. So you don't want a super white light on someone who's fair complected. Whereas if it's someone who is darker complected, you can do that, but it also depends on what their dark undertones are. So if they're more of a yellow, you're going to do a more warmer light. Whereas if their undertones are a lot darker, you're going to have to brighten that up as much as you can. And also those flats that I was talking about to reflect the light off of one side, because yes, that shadowing will become an issue. So color and all of that plays a part in how the lighting should be done.
Good to know.
Yeah. Don't use warm light on someone who is like light skin to fair, because it's not going to come out. You're going to look jaundiced.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. So every professional has their pet peeves. And pet peeves are my things. Okay. So what are some of the things that drive you nuts during a shoot?
That's for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Vivian.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have pet peeves.
Stop lying. Stop it right now.
Number one with a bullet. Attitude. Don't show up and tell the photographer, the children, the whomever, I hate taking pictures.
Yeah.
Then the question becomes, why are you here?
Right.
And it makes it harder for the photographer to do their job. And definitely don't say it in front of children who are already unruly or haven't had their naps, because their thoughts are, if you hate taking pictures, why are you making me do it?
Mm.
That's probably my number one. And it's sad because I don't like taking pictures. No, I'm joking. Almost every picture I have, my mouth is open or I'm smiling. If you catch me with a picture and I'm not smiling, that's because someone did not let me know they were taking a picture. And I'm normally in deep thought. So it's either thinking or smiling. There's normally no in between, or eating. Okay. Because I eat all the time. But so that's the number one with the bullet. Attire is another pet peeve. Just because it was on TikTok, the runway, anywhere, it does not look right on everyone. It doesn't. And you can go to Saks closed here, but you can go to a lot of stores and they will teach you what colors look best on you and with your skin tone. And I understand the goth look. I love the goth look because Black is slamming the people as well as the clothes. But in pictures, depending on what you're trying to achieve, yeah. So the color of the clothes, the shape of the clothes, and please, 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 this is for all my women out there. I love a great push-up bra. I do. But bubbling brown sugar does not look good in pictures. So if your undergarments are spilling over, it's hard for me to tuck them back in. And this goes for your bras, your Spanx, whatever you're putting on that makes you look a little more snatched than normal. Yeah, no.
So you can't fix the side boobs and the peakers.
Well, the killing thing is, so when I'm working, I always ask people, can I touch you? Because I am big on let's adjust stuff. Mm-hmm. I have what Claron would call miniature pinchers. But if you
put words in my mouth, stop it.
If you got Rottweilers and they're not on a leash, you can't really tuck them. You can't. Yeah. You can push. No, they will not. And so what people don't understand, so with Photoshop, you're taking sometimes part of an image and pasting it over this area. So it doesn't look right to have bubbling brown sugar in the middle and then this stuff on the side. So it's like, yeah, no, please. So then I have to alter how you stand and what have you. Natalie and I just did a photo shoot for her. And I told her, because she was like, I don't want to do this. And I told her, I said, you look like a linebacker. Because the way she was holding herself, and she won't get upset because I did say it. And she's like, well, my shoulders won't go down. And she's kind of a busty chick. So I was like, yeah, we can't have the linebacker look. We got to relax. So before you go to a shoot, that's a pet peeve as well. Practice how you look. Like, get in the mirror. Look at yourself. See what sticks out. Do your collarbone stick out? You don't want that? Arch your back, arch it. Practice before you come before the photographer. And I know it's hard with children, but yeah, with children, let them be. If they're making bunny ears and all that stuff, people already know your children are crazy. It's okay. I'm so serious. I wish I had sent y'all a picture. We did a photo shoot with me and my children. They're older, but I didn't want it to be that stringent. Let's all pose, get in here. So we had a leaf fight. We were outside and I had letters on the backs of everyone. It was supposed to spell out family. My daughter and her son, Sarai and Noah, decided to turn towards the camera. Everyone's looking forward with just the shirts. And in the image, they're both looking back. And I was like, okay, y'all didn't want to take pictures, but now you want your faces to be seen when no one else is being seen. So it's one of those, yes. Focus. So okay. Yeah, those are my few little pet peeves. Nothing major that can't be fixed, but yeah, the garments is that one's another one. It's just, please make sure it fits. I have a lot of stuff in my bag, but I don't. No. I don't have tape to hold that. No.
Can't corral them Rottweilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think you touched a little bit on this. What are some tips or rules for taking pictures?
As in for yourself or for
So I'm thinking like for myself, I get all weird, right? So if I want to bump up my social media and it's just me taking pictures of myself or me and my doggy or just, you know, how can you take pictures like a social media influencer? It look good, but it's just like, your social media, but you want
be
to look great.
yourself?
Okay.
Be yourself and don't think so much about the camera because that's what people do all the time. And Natalie always tells people, look through me so that we can see your eyes and we can get that perfect image. But like when you're taking it with your dog, he's just like your child. Don't force him to do anything he wouldn't normally. And if you want them to look perfect, practice and then practice again and then practice because you play the way you practice. It sounds crazy, but yes, before doing this interview, I am that person. Claron knows I'm goofy as heck. I'm never super serious until I'm like upset. So I was like, oh, I did my hair and I was like, oh, my space is too narrow. So I look like a cone head. So I said, let me
Oh
take
my
it.
God.
Then, like I said earlier, my lips normally fade into my skin. So I was like, oh, let me get a pinch of color. And then I was like, oh, they're going to have on jewelry. Let me throw on some jewelry. So whatever images you're trying to capture, make sure whatever you have on you're comfortable in. Never put on anything. When you watch talk shows, you watch anything. If you see them fiddling with something, that's because they have a nervous twitch and they need something to keep them relaxed. So like with this ring, y'all can't see it because I keep taking it off camera, but I rub it like a thing because it's like it soothes people. So
Yeah. Okay.
also, Claire has the top knot. Look at that. Take those images and look at it and see how you feel. And I tell everyone who does selfies, please, everyone, stop being up against the wall. Stop, because you look like you're going to prison. Get about arm's length away from the wall because you will bleed into it and it's not good. And I'm going to keep saying, always have fun. Always have fun. Think of something like, even if you're not having the best day, and like as influencers, you might have to post every other day and you might not feel like posting. Think of those happy moments in your life, like when you was a child. Shoot, I think about my siblings when we used to have, sorry, daddy, water balloon fights in the house with mama. Think of stuff that makes you laugh. Natalie will probably kill me for this, but the other day she wasn't seeing my vision on a photo shoot. We were scouting the location and she wasn't seeing it. She was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know. And I was like, what is something that brings you joy? And she's like, what? Because she was just having a bad day. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking of different songs. And so finally I'm like, the hills are alive with the sound of music. Because she did not like Bridge to Terabithia. I don't know why not. So we literally are out in the middle of this area. It's people out there. And we're like, a doe, a deer, a female. What is that? Crazy. And we're dancing, full grown women running through, and we're doing the motion. But it got her out of that mindset of not seeing the end result. So, like, even with your dog, what makes him happy? What makes you happy? Do that and capture it. Like, if you could have like a little remote and you capture your images as you're doing stuff, the more natural, the better. Because I can literally go through and tell you if an influencer was just faking it or not. Because you just know I don't know what it is, but I can tell. I'm like, okay, because if I do pictures, I'm like, no. So it's all about being natural. Check your lighting. Go in. I know not everyone has the lights that I have, but go in your bathroom. If you take the camera from take the, what is it, the light from your phone and shine it on the side and see if you need more lighting when you go to take your images. Look at the color on your skin and does it bring you joy or does it make you feel like indifferent? Does it make you feel down? You want something that's going to say, hey, I'm alive, I'm here, this is me. It depends on what you're projecting. Now, if you are projecting like sadness, okay, emotions, I love the movie, but anyway, that's what we do. It's out. It sounds crazy.
So when you say go into the bathroom, because for actors that's a big no-no. Now, should they leave out the shower curtain and the medicine cabinet?
Oh, no, 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 no. So you're not going in there to take your picture. You're
Okay.
going in there to get your lighting so you understand. It sounds crazy, but go in the bathroom and those lights that are up there are normally horrible. So you can go switch those out. But look at how you look in the outfit that you're wearing or the makeup that you have on. Give yourself a little more light so that you can see and practice how you want to look. Because
Okay. Self-test.
yeah, it's
Okay.
one of those, like, I know for a fact when my face is straight, my lips are like off to the side. And it's like, dang, what is going on? So I have to practice to keep my lips centered opposed to off to the side. I said, it's probably from all those years of being sarcastic. But anyway, that's probably why I smile most of the time. But it's just getting in that practice of you looking at yourself and seeing and getting in the habit of it. Because if you don't practice it and you get in front of the camera, you're gonna be like, I don't like this. In the bathroom, I look like this. And it's like, okay, let me see what feels natural. So when you're in that bathroom and you're like, okay, no, oop, that doesn't look right. So you adjust. So the bathroom is just the practice. Now, if you have a studio set up, like a dance studio where my daughter Samantha goes and dances, go in there and practice. It's what's going to help you achieve that goal. But I'm going to say it over and over. Practice, practice, practice.
Yes. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So for individuals looking to improve their public image or personal brand, what kind of advice would you give them for how they want to be perceived? Pictures.
That depends. What it would depend on what they already have and where they're trying to go. So if you notice with like a lot of celebrities when they screw up or when they have to go to court, they don't have on their booty shorts and their low cleavage. They're buttoned up. They have their jackets a certain way. So I don't like to follow trends. I like to set them. I would, if you're trying to be more professional, look at the attire that you've been in up to this point and see how you can change that up and make yourself look professional, but still in a more fashionable setting. If you're if you're just like, my daughter does TikToks all the time. And I laugh because she wears this one accessory. We'll say that so she won't know what I'm talking about. Look at that, see what society's doing and see what works with you and go from there. So like I'll use you two as examples. You both have on glasses. And if you're wanting to change that image, you want people to see you just a little differently, go with a smaller frame. I understand when you go in there, they tell you, well, this frame is what's best for your eyes. No, go with a smaller frame or just little small tweaks can make a huge difference. Or like some of your pictures, if you always have on glasses, take your glasses off. You'll be surprised. Some people probably won't even recognize you. And it sounds crazy.
Wow.
Perfect example, Claron knows this. I do not wear makeup ever. And I wore makeup to an event and I walked in the bathroom and my sister Karen and my niece Kristen.
Shout out to Christian and Karen and Samantha.
I walk in there and I'm like, they're like, hello. And I was like, oh, is this where we're getting dressed? They was like, is that you? All night long, people were snapping pictures of me. And I was so not happy. And it was just because I had on some makeup. Shout out to my cousin Angela Snorton. She did the makeup. But it was shocking that people are that disconnected from us because they're used to seeing you one way. So it wasn't even a lot of makeup. I did have weave on. So forget it. For Samantha did the weave. But they didn't recognize me. And it was just from having a little makeup on. So just changing little small things first. Because you don't want to do a giant leap. Only time you do a giant leap is when you're about to go to court and you're trying to prove to the judge that you didn't do it. All those who are about to face the judge. just little simple things. So normally my hair is either in a do-rag or in an afro. And so I had my daughter do this, and different people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was you. And it's like, oh, you don't pay attention. Okay. So start off small, because you don't want your followers to be like, okay, what's going on? Kind of like when you have entertainers who promote body image, body positivity, and then you find out they taking Ozempic. No knock to the Ozempic, to everyone who's from that, you go. But you don't want them to say, oh, so they weren't true to their brand. So you want to make sure when you navigate these waters, if you're going to switch something up slowly, because that giant leap will have your followers saying, what in the world is going on? And they're going to assume that you're trying to be like the masses instead of being true to who you are.
So like, don't go get like a face tattoo. Like if I went and got like a face tattoo and then showed up on social media, people would be like, she is having a certified mental breakdown. Yeah. Okay.
But y'all remember when Prince came out with the slave on the side of his face? Everybody's like, what is this? What is this? What is this symbolic of? And it was just a big hubbub. But he was up here, so he could do that. For us, you might be able to go get a mole put right there, just a dot. And people might be like, oh, I never knew you had that. Is that something on your chin?
Okay.
Oh. So Vivian, real quick, the event you're talking about is the one that we were all at. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, when she walked in, people just don't understand. Vivian completely dresses the opposite of what she is right now. When she walked in that door, damn it, I tell you, I did a triple take. I said, well, damn, who was that?
Vicky Vale, Batman.
She was getting it. Okay. If I were a man, I'd have probably hit on her. Okay, I said it right here on my show. And listen, she looked fantastic. She killed me if I put the pictures up, so I can't put the pictures up.
I thank her for that, but it was sad, because shout out to Angie and Clarence, because that's whose event we were at.
Okay, yes.
I was talking to Clarence through the curtain because I had something for him. And then when I pulled back the curtain, I hadn't even gotten dressed yet. I just had on the face and the hair. And he's like, that's you? And I was like, oh, big brother, really? Are we serious? So yeah, it was. So yeah, you see me without, I can't even say all that. You want to know what's on my face right now? Some Vaseline, some clear eye mascara, and I do have color on my lips. It's like 3 different colors, but I'm a Vaseline chick. Put a little under your eyebrows, it looks like you got eyeshadow on. Put a little under your eyes, so if you got bags, the light reflects off, so people don't know you got bags. It's good.
There you go. Some small tips.
Yes.
Oh, and Vaseline on my teeth so that I can keep smiling. Yeah. Whitley from A Different World, put it on there. It really does work. So your lips can slide, so you don't get the lipstick on there, and you can smile all day.
Yes, I've heard of that. Okay.
It's not. I needed that, because sometimes I get all dehydrated and then they get hung up. Like my lips get hung up over. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening to my face?
And you don't need a lot, just a little pinch, and you rub. People sometimes just do it on their teeth. Do it on the gums too, because like you said, your lip gets stuck up there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you need to drink some water, but if you get to the water, this is going to keep it sliding all day long.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Well, we're going to sign off. Vivian, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your time with us and your experience and wonderful tips and rules, suggestions. Put some questions in the comments. Make some comments. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And see, I didn't forget to ring the bell. Thank you for joining us on 15 Minutes of Chatter. 15 Minutes of Chatter. I don't even know the name of my damn podcast. See you next time.
Oh, boo boy. Boo boy.